And it's time for the second semi-final in the Big Lager Championship. Let's have a look at the table. So if we look back to the first semi-final, we had the Red Stripe taking on the Madry, and the Red Stripe became the first beer to book a place in the final. Just beat the Madry, just pipped it at the post. It was a really close matchup there, very hard to decide which one to put through. The Red Stripe did go through though and made it into the final. But what will it be up against? Well, if you look there at the second semi-final, that is what we're going to be doing today. So it's going to be between these two beers. So we have got, on my left, the Champigneulles all the way from Asda. And on my right, we've got the Sabor all the way from Lidl. What can I say about these beers that haven't been said already? So the Champigneulles, I'm pretty sure, is brewed in France. Yep, it's brewed in France. It is 5.5% and it's 330ml can, and they are about 6 cans for £5, I think. The Sabor is brewed in Spain, and it is 4.6% ABV, and I think these are about £1 each, these cans. I think they're about 4 cans for £4, which, considering the 500ml cans, I'd say is incredibly good value for money. Not much more else to say about these beers. I can't wait to get tasting them. Can't wait to get this semi-final. I'm really excited about this semi-final, to be honest. These two, I remember both liking both of these, so it's gonna be a good one. This, to be honest, especially when I tried Sabor in the last thing, I thought it was Champigneulles. So it'll be very interesting to see whether I'm getting similar taste from them and whether I can tell which is which. Anyway, let's stop waffling. Let's get these out into glasses. Let's get the semi-final underway. Okay, so beers poured, both decent hefty pours there. And again, this one, similar heads in both of them, really, I would say. What else can I say about them? Not much. First of all, let's tell you which one is which. So this is which one's which. Okay, that was which one was which. So let's have a little look at these. So having a look at these. They're both looking very similar colour, actually. In fact, they are the same colour, to be honest. This one's possibly looking a little bit hazy. Maybe a little bit hazy, that one on the left. Not that I want that to give anything away, possibly, to what's what. Though it's not crystal clear, the one on the right, really. Looking up at the light. Looking through there, they do seem pretty clear, to be honest. So I don't know what it is. It might just be the way the light hits them. Anyway, that's enough of that. Enough of looking at them. Let's get smelling them. Oh, swill. Let's go. Malt, bit of sweetness. Wow, this one smells nice. So yeah, a little bit of lemoniness, bit of sweetness, bit of malt. Smells a little bit fresh, a little bit fragrant. Quite a bit of syrupiness in there. To be honest, possibly a little bit too sweet on the nose. But I know with some of these beers, there's a sweetness on the nose that doesn't translate into the palate, so we'll just have to see whether that's the case with this one, but it's quite sweet on the nose. Interesting. But yeah, sweet and malty, a little bit of lemon, a little bit grassy, a little bit of everything, really. Quite complex. Let's go on this one now. That one's got a slightly less sweet nose. A little bit dirtier, a bit more rustic in the nose there. I don't know though, but a bit more complex, a bit more interesting in the nose. Wow, this is something where I'm really not, unless I can tell something in the taste, I don't know if I'll be able to tell which one's which out of these. They're both quite malty. They're both a little bit sweet on the nose there. This one is smelling a little bit cleaner and a bit more zesty than this one. Well, this one does smell quite interesting. I don't think I'll be able to put my money on either of these being whatever, to be honest, but we'll let's dive into this one first. So here we go. Oh, hang on, let's swill. Both had heads that are dissipating quite quickly, which is interesting. But anyway, got to go on this one first. Cheers. So, so a little bit of sweetness on the palate there. There's a fair bit of maltiness on the palate as well. There's not a massive amount going on, but what is going on is very pleasant. We are getting orangey notes. We're getting maltiness. It's got a lovely clean maltiness there. Yeah, we're getting breadiness there. Nice breadiness on the aftertaste. Some wholemeal bread. I say a lovely sweetness just running through it, which isn't too much. Clean, refreshing. Yeah, it's crisp, it's refreshing, but it's quite full-bodied, it's quite malty, it's a little bit sweet. Not a huge amount of bitterness, but there's a little bit there. Interesting. Okay, let's try this one now. Cheers. So that one's got more bitterness. Quite a mellow aftertaste. It's quite sharp in the taste. Now I know with one of these two beers, there was quite a sharpness in the bitterness that I wasn't a fan of. I think both times I tried it. But when I lived with it a bit longer, it became less sort of sharp and abrasive and became more pleasant. So I'm going to live with these a little bit longer just to see. Because at the moment, that bitterness a little bit, I don't know, not quite what I like in this one. Whereas this one has a very low bitterness though. I think I'd want a bit more bitterness, but you know what? It's really nice. That is a really nice drink, that. Very flavourful, full-bodied. Punchy, clean, malty, bready, very pleasant. Bit of breadiness on the aftertaste. I'll go on this one again, and I'm going to do a bit of back and forth. Yes, that bitterness is not too bad. It's quite punchy, actually, the bitterness. It does actually wake your palate up. I wouldn't say it's abrasive. It's a little bit sharp, but it's crisp. It makes it crisp and refreshing. Bit of complexity to the flavour there. Not a huge amount of aftertaste, I've got to say. I'm still swilling for some reason. Let's try this one again. If you want to do a multi-lager, this is how you do it. This is really good for a multi-lager, I've got to say. It's hard, this. Another really hard one. A little bit of spiciness in there as well. It's eating a little bit of a fruitiness. Let's try and find that aftertaste. Let's find a bit of an aftertaste from it. See what I'm getting from that aftertaste. Yeah, yeah. Pardon me. Getting a bit of a biscuitiness as well. Bit of biscuits, bit of bread. Nice and smooth on the finish. Yeah, there is some bitterness there, but because quite a lot of smooth maltiness, it kind of offsets it a bit, which I like. Let's go on to this one now. Yes, that bitterness now has become much more pleasant. Weird, isn't it? I think it's because it's opening up and I'm getting more flavours coming from it now. And this has got some slightly fruity flavours, like apple in there. Again, that lovely Belgian yeastiness as well. Oh, it's a hard one, this one. It really is. It's a hard one. Again, these semi-finals, they're hard. They're really hard. They're both really good. They're both blinding beers, these. This could have been the final. It really could. No, the Red Stripe's not going to stand a chance, but it certainly will come in. He'll come in as the underdog, I tell you. Really will. But I honestly don't know. Yeah, that bitterness is still there a bit. It's still... I'm almost wanting to go on this one just to come like down off that one, essentially. It's really tasty, that one. It really is. It's very, very nice indeed. So, okay, here we go then. So this one is getting massive marks for complexity. After again being a little bit different than the other lagers. It's so interesting. This, I would recommend getting this every day of the week. It's absolutely great. It's nearly gone. It's punchy, it's interesting, it's surprisingly complex, it's different, it's got all kinds of strange flavours in there, which, you know, make it a very interesting drink indeed. But this is cracking. It's absolutely cracking. I like a lager with a fair bit of maltiness. I like a lager that's not too bitter unless it's trying to be a pilsner. I like a lager with a good aftertaste. I like one that's crisp and it's refreshing. It's relatively smooth. Doesn't have any sickly sweet notes to it. Always getting a bit of nice bitterness there as well. And so again, really, really close run thing. Really close run thing. But that, I think, just takes it, really. It's so hard to decide because both of these are amazing beers. This one, I think, just from a personal palate perspective, a little bit high level of bitterness for me. Without a huge amount to offset it. If it is the one I think it is, you can almost taste the slightly higher ABV, which can sometimes make you feel that the beer is a bit better than it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, when you're drinking a slightly higher beer, when you've had a few sips of it, it starts to taste a bit nicer. You get that warming buzz of the alcohol, which kind of like, I don't know, makes it taste a bit nicer. This one, if it is the one I think it is, which again I'm trying not to think that, it's slightly lower. You can session it more. It's certainly, you know, this is hopefully something that will give people ideas of what kind of beers to buy. If anyone's going to take recommendations based off these are both amazing beers. I would get either of these any day of the week. If this is the one I think it is, then absolute cracker. For sessioning in the garden, you can't go wrong with this. Absolute cracker. But I'll do my final thoughts to camera when I found out what they are. I have had these wrong before now. Now head to head, I think I know which one's which. It's not swayed my judgment whatsoever. You know, both of these beers I think are absolutely amazing. And I didn't know that were amazing until I did them recently. But let's do it. Let's cut the long story short. I'll talk again in a minute when I found out if I'm right. So, yeah. So this one's going through. I think this is the Sabor. This one, unfortunately, just missed out, even though it's an amazing beer. I think this is the Champigneulles. But I'll come back in a minute and we will find out. And I'm back. And yes, this was the Champigneulles. And this was the Sabor. Both really good. It was the bitterness that did it. Really, the bitterness told me this was the Champigneulles. Which, if you like a punchy, bitter, with a bit of sweetness, lager, oh, it's cracking. I mean, it's breaking my heart to knock it out, really. It's a cracking lager. It really is good. I nearly finished it as well. And it is 6 cans for £5 from Asda. It'd be a great barbecue beer, this. Yeah, it's got the bitterness. The bitterness lingers a little bit on the tongue, which I'm not a massive fan of it. But there is a nice bit of sweetness that offsets the bitterness. So it's a very pleasant lager. I'd say it's 5.5%, so it's quite strong. But it's cracking. It's a good one. But wow, I did not expect this one to be as good as it was. I mean, Sabor, it's just really tasty. It's really tasty. It's got a lovely amount of maltiness to it. It's got a little bit of bitterness to it. And that maltiness lingers. It lingers on the palate. You got a lovely breadiness. It's still there. I mean, this one, I had my reasons for not putting this one through, but this one hasn't really got much of an aftertaste. And a lot of the time, it's the aftertaste that swings it. Yeah, I mean, Champigneulles, amazing beer. Absolutely cracking there. But unfortunately, it's out. Which pains me to say it because I thought it'd go all the way. But wow, what a beer. What an absolute corker of a beer. Sabor, made in Spain, brewed for Lidl. Let's get a bit more in the glass. In fact, let's finish it off. Let's just finish them both. Let's talk to the camera with a bit more Sabor in my glass. The one that's going through to the final. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to go through as a massive overdog. Overdog, is that a word? It's going to go through as the favourite. But Red Stripe's a big favourite as well. Red Stripe was called right at the beginning, really. So does Sabor have what it takes to take down the mighty Red Stripe? I don't know. Until I get that Red Stripe in the glass and I'm actually tasting it. I'm tasting the weird and wonderful flavours that you get with it. Is that going to take down the Sabor? The Champigneulles almost took down the Sabor with its weird and wonderful flavours, but it had a couple of things that I wasn't 100% happy with. Is there anything I'm not too happy with on the Red Stripe? I don't know. Will that offset the fact that it's a weird and wonderful lager? As I always say, at this stage, it doesn't really matter which gets crowned the best, because I'll be at the end in that final. I'll be picking out which the best ones are, and they won't necessarily be the ones that you're expecting. Because I've drank lots of beers in this championship, and obviously it's down to the draw, isn't it? Really, it's down to the day, what was happening. But I still have in my memory beers that I was really impressed with. Some from a long time ago, Like the Grande, for example. The Grande from Aldi, I still say is an absolutely amazing lager. How on earth that got knocked out, I've no idea. Because I still think the Grande and the Sabor are both better than Madri. So, how the Grande ended up losing, but I suppose it lost, I think, to the Perlenbacher, possibly it was, and then that lost to something else. So it's weird how these knockout championships work. I'm going to have a little think about the beers that I have reviewed over this championship, and I'll have a little chat to camera after the final, just to give my recommendations for the lagers that I've decided are the ones that I would recommend, really, from this championship, because there are some weird and wonderful ones out there. But the Sabor is through to the final, where it will take on the Red Stripe. That is going to happen on New Year's Eve, just because I said I'd get this done this year, so why not get it done on New Year's Eve? So New Year's Eve is going to be the final. Sabor against Red Stripe. Make sure you tune in for that. I can't wait. Hope you can't too. Anyway, until next time, have a good one. Until next time, have a good one.